Alright, so this is a short video on how to install the sensor into your intercooler. So I've got here a, let's see, M7-1 30mm bolt. I've got a map sensor. The part number is that. I've got a Rev9 Universal Intercooler. I've got a stencil on there, so this is the front. And what we're going to do is we're going to install the sensor. So I'm thinking of installing it right about here, give or take. Reason is the plug's on the driver's side, and I don't want to put it directly there because it might interfere with the coupler. So if I put it here, it should be out of the way. So let me mark that out real quick. So that's our hole. Well, going to be our hole. So I got a drill bit. This is a 29/64. It's not going to focus, but it's a 29/64. It pretty much matches up perfectly with that sensor. So I don't have a drill, so I'm going to just use my impact with a drill adapter. What I'll do is I'll shove some cloth inside there. And I'm probably going to also run some water for this afterwards too, to make sure like everything's flushed out. Actually, the cloth worked out perfectly. Still gonna flush it. But that actually caught basically everything. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. No shavings in there. I'm still gonna flush it out. But wow, that's a really nice fit. I'm trying to avoid putting it in all the way because so actually what I'll do is use your drill in reverse. I'll make a nice little divot. Okay, see, that's a really nice tight fit. That's what we want. But I'm still going to take some extra precaution when actually installing it. So it'll be perfect for M7. So for that, we'll tap it. Alright, so I found a tap. I had to go take this to a friend, but you can see it's fretted. Basically, all you gotta do is you take your, so all you do is you take your tap and then you just basically install it. This one's the wrong one because I had to go borrow one, but you grease the hole, well, not grease, oil it, and you just basically put the bolt in, well, not the bolt, but the tap, and you just slowly work it around. It's pretty easy. Can't really mess it up unless you get it not straight. You just want to make sure it's straight. So now that that's nice and tapped, as you can see, it goes in nicely. And you just thread in this bolt all the way here, nice and smooth. It's a very nice seal there. That'll never leak. But it's still going to take some precautionary. So one thing I'll actually do is get my deburr tool and deburr that. So I've got a deburring tool, so I'll just run it through there, make it nice and deburred. There you go. That's nice. I'm not going to do that with the thread just because so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to run some water through this. Make sure it's nice and cleaned out, flushed, and all that. That way it doesn't leak. So let me go do that. Alright, so I flushed this out. All I did is just run some water through it from the other end and then through the top and through the back, and then just flushed out all the aluminum shavings. That should be plenty, but again, just do it for a few good minutes, make sure all the shavings are out, and then if you really want to, you can run some compressed air through it and really get it cleaned. So now that we have that all lined up, that's basically perfect. So what I was going to do as just an extra like sealant and precautionary, so I was going to use a little bit of gasket maker that's oil resistant. Just a little bit. You don't even need that much. I was just going to put like a small amount around the edge. It should just squish up, and you just want to make sure you don't get any inside the sensor. So now we slide our sensor in. Alright. Our sensor in. And I'm going to make sure it's nice and tight, but I'm going to use a bit of some thread sealant on this. So I'm using some of this. And this is the RTV I use. this stuff's like marshmallow fluff. Only a little bit. Any more is really unnecessary. Alright, so let me get that started. There we go. And that's the sensor installed. I got it a little bit crooked. But again, doesn't matter. It's not going to be seen. Doesn't really matter. And this is all done by hand. There's still water inside there. But, point being, there we go. Now I'm going to let this sit overnight. So, that way, it can have a nice seal and won't leak any boost. Actually, that's very strong. So, nice and sealed. You can see. So it's not going to sit in there perfectly. And that's why I wanted to put a little bit of that gasket's RTV maker there. That way it seals it perfectly, because you can see how there's a square there. So from factory, there's a square, basically a square port where that seats in. That's not going to be possible with any aftermarket intercooler. So that's why I went with a little bit of RTV, and just see how little there is. It's all you need. But that will definitely hold. It's nice and tight in there. And that's basically how you install your boost sensor on a aftermarket intercooler for the Cruze. Thanks for watching.